So from the 50 EMA right now, if this were to continue, this red ugliness on the 4-hour chart, that is, if you wanted to get a sense of what the next support area might be, I would say really to look out for maybe some consolidation, $6,400, $6,500, if Bitcoin continues this downtrend and actually does break this support area. So that would be my next short-term target of $6,400, $6,500. What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Ventures, September 6th, 2018, $6,400. $6,400. That was a pretty good anticipation that we had yesterday for that to happen. But I want to talk about why we did that, because even on that video, after we hit $6,400 and showed support, there were comments on that video that technical analysis does not work and there's no point. I don't even get how that's possible, but there were comments. And so because of that, I want to explain why we were looking at $6,400 as support yesterday if we did go further down. So let's start there and kind of explain that, because I think it's important for these technical analysis videos, right? So I have some notes on the screen. Mainly what we were looking at is if we first off take the Fibonacci retracement to the previous low to this possible lower high that we were talking about, what we do is we really look at where's that 618 to 786 channel, right? That channel is a resistance channel for upside and it's a support channel for downside. So that channel is, right around 64.74 at the 618 all the way down to $6,200 area for the 786. So that's why in the video yesterday I basically said $6,400, $6,500 possibly going down to that area and then testing that area for consolidation. So the other reason why that area was important, and probably the main reason I brought it up, was just because if we were going to continue going down, when we start forming these new trends down, what Bitcoin does often, and we talk about it a lot, is these short-term downtrends usually see like a 10 to 15% overextension on the 4-hour chart on the 50 EMA. So this is the 4-hour chart over here, and you can see if we get kind of the price range from that 50 EMA where we were doing that video yesterday, you can see right around 10% is just below $6,400. So that's kind of why I chose that area as a possible pullback and also a possible area where we're going to slow down, chill out, and Bitcoin's going to maybe find support. And you can see it on the screen right there. The $6,400 definitely held support, right? So moving forward, I want to talk about what could possibly be happening next. So to start, I want to just real quick point something really important out to everybody. And I'll try and make this video pretty brief, but point out some important things. So here is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. One thing to notice is these lower highs that have formed. And I know even when we hit this previous bottom and we're going up, I talked about we might just be forming a new lower high. And a lot of people said that I'm just negative because I talk about that. And everybody, if you've really been watching these videos, I'm not bearish really at all. I'm just always anticipating downside so I can buy the dip, right? That's really why I started this channel. So you can see, very importantly actually to point out, is we had this basic rejection on the 50 EMA on the weekly chart. And we formed a lower high. I mean, it really happened right now. I mean, it could, but I don't think this week is going to go from $6,400 and we're going to form a green weekly candle above this previous weekly close. I don't think that's going to happen. If it happens and I'm wrong about that, that's something I would love to be wrong about. I just don't think it's going to happen. So in the meantime, we've formed a lower high. So it happened. Hopefully many of you were prepared for that and you weren't like buying up here. That's like the biggest thing that I hate doing in the markets, right? Is FOMOing in. And I talk about that a lot. Like that's a lesson I learned around 10 years ago. So that's why I was also looking at the bullish breakouts, and then I might start accumulating at these levels. If we started breaking above this level, then I'm bullish, right? but I didn't want to FOMO into the markets because everybody was bullish on social media and everywhere, and I wasn't convinced yet, basically. So right now you can see this weekly red candle, but what I want to point out to you is just check out this 61, like it's not perfect, this is a weekly chart, but this $6,100 area. This is a pretty cool area to watch right now, zoomed out. And now that we're, under $6,500 and we're pretty close, you can even really watch this on the 4-hour and the hourly chart if you'd like. But right now you see the $6,100 area has been tested twice. And you can see this bottom back here in July, June to July, and then we have another one like the end of July to August. And then right now we're not there yet, but possibly could be approaching that to test it again. And for me, that's significant because if you go back to the last bearish market and you kind of want to get an idea on how Bitcoin moves or how Bitcoin forms bottoms, you can see that this $210 area, and again, it's not perfect, this is a weekly chart, but I just drew a line. You can see the $210 area as Bitcoin was forming this huge downtrend, right, in this bear market, forming lower highs. You can see the lower highs, lower high, lower high. You can see Bitcoin bounced off of around 210 one time, tested it again, tested it third time, and then really tested a fourth time before finally exiting the bear market, right? And mind you, on this chart, it looks very close together, but since it's a weekly chart, this is 266 days. This is 38 weeks of testing that $210 area. I'm not saying we're going to be testing this possible bottom for Bitcoin for 38 weeks, but what I am saying is it is an interesting sign right now that we have tested the $6,100 area, similar to that past bear market. You can see we've tested twice now, right? And we're approaching it for a third time. And it's happening way quicker, which this whole downtrend has done compared to that last bear market. It's doing it way quicker. So another thing, lastly, to point out in regards to that bear market is that right before that fourth time testing this low and bouncing off, you can see it got rejection pretty much right at that 50 EMA on the weekly. And I just want to point out, which I did kind of touch on already, is you can see we just got some rejection at the 50 EMA on the weekly. So it's something I think to be mindful of. Taking that historical data, I really think is relevant to the markets today. And the path of Bitcoin has definitely seemed very similar to that last bear market in a quicker manner of these lower highs happening. So a good thing, if I can point anything bullish out right now, would be to the fact that we've tested the $6,100 area twice and we've bounced off it. So I'm really curious. That's probably the most important thing I have my eye on right now in terms of Bitcoin. And if you go to Bitcoin on this is the daily chart, you can see that $6,100 area right there. And then just for context, I think it's important since we've been talking about it so much and I'm curious, I do want to take the fib retracement from that swing high to previous low. And I just want to get a sense of what this, rejection looked like that we just had on Bitcoin at that 618 to 786 channel. So you can see we didn't exactly touch it, but you see that often. We'll approach a resistance area, and we'll either slightly go above it or slightly below it, and then that's you're going to see resistance somewhere in the vicinity. So we obviously got that resistance, and we came back down. So really, what I'm looking at now is, and I want to talk about possibly the upside first, real quick. Upside would be we see support where we are right now. This daily candle is looking pretty nice in terms of support, right? Even if you do a quick glance at the charts in terms of like where these bottom bounces are found, you'll see these nice long wicks on these daily candles, right? It happens often. So right now, with where Bitcoin is, you can see it's a pretty nice long wick on that daily candle right now. And let's see if we can even move up a little bit from where we are right now and see an even stronger daily candle would be very nice. On the short term, I would love to retest this 50 EMA at $6,900 and get above it. That would really start forming this possible, we can call it like a third test, right? This third bottom, if we come back up from this area. And then, you know, we can start obviously talking about the 200 EMA again and start finding resistance areas. But for now, we're definitely not there yet. Bitcoin hasn't made any type of bullish move as of now. But on the short term, I would definitely eye up that $6,900 area. And we can take the price range and kind of just get a sense of how far away that is from where we are. So that's around a 7%, 6 to 7% gain to test that area. 100% achievable and possible at the snap of the fingers. You know, Bitcoin can make a move like that. So that's what you want to keep an eye out on the upside. On the downside, what I'm really looking at is this continued, you know, right now you can really get a sense of what Bitcoin looks like, taking a break right here at the $6,400 area, like we talked about. But zooming out on the 4 hour, you can really get an idea of what these downtrends look like. So a true downtrend, right? If this was going to continue, and I want to bring up new lows now, right? I mean, talking breaking the $6,100 area. What could we look for? And this is something we've been talking about for a while, and it really hasn't changed much. Maybe a little lower than $5,500, but $5,500 is really that area that we'd be looking out for. Right around 27% overextended from the 200 EMA. And if you're confused why I'm doing that, you know, in forming new lows, I really keep an eye on the 200 EMA, that overextension before finally getting a bounce and a pullback up. That's what happens in these new lows. And we see it time and time again, this overextension of like 25%, give or take. So just to give you an example, we can go to even this most previous one. You can see this low tested 24, almost 25% overextended from that 200 EMA. And then the one before that from the 200 EMA, you can see we can take that wick, and it's not that high, but right around 31% overextended. So that 25% to 30% area, really important for me in terms of anticipating a new low. And I know nobody likes to talk about that. I know that probably doesn't help me get new subscribers, but it's important to anticipate the downside. It's why I started the channel. I always want to be ready to buy these dips. So that $5,500 area for me is a very significant area of possible support for a new low. Something to kind of give an illustration of what that would look like. You might hop around a little bit here, and then maybe a bounce off of 61, and then just kind of down to 5,500, right? And that's what it would look like. That's what a new low would look like. Not as perfect as that, but you know, down here is possible. It really is. So just be ready for it. I know everybody wants a bull market, and I am pretty confident it's going to happen, but we just need to be patient, and we need to be prepared for just testing really key areas of support and giving Bitcoin its time to shine. You just got to give it some time. As long as you're not spending more than you can afford to lose, I think you'll be fine. And then, you know, my personal approach is accumulate and buy the dips. So that's why I'm always talking about the dips, but always love being proven way wrong. You know, like if today Bitcoin just broke the 50, broke the 200 EMA, and like we just start going back up, man, I would love that. That's what I want. I can't wait for that time. It's going to be exciting. But those are my thoughts right now on Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts. How are you making out? I hope you're doing okay out there. And it's fun either way. Wouldn't you agree? Let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate you coming by today. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.